why this is not the normal type of video I post on my account. This is Kakarot. Some of you may know him as doxxing.
This is Axidi, someone who used to be close to Kakarot. Now the reason I am telling you all of this is cause I wanted to spread awareness in the AMV editing community about Kakarot, who ended up allegedly exposing 18+ chats of someone without their consent, furthermore played with his friend's feelings, and most important, got Axidi's DCACC banned. Let me get into details. Let's start off from Axidi's problem and then we'll move on to the other two. This is Axidi's old account, username Apex and Star. Now this ACC was made in 2020, which you might question that how is it important? Well, it holds great significance up ahead. Looking further, Axidi on this ACC had a really dear friend who had caught cancer, and the fact was his condition was worsening over the time slowly but surely, and the fact was that friend of his didn't share any mutual friend or a server or any sort of other contact, so this ACC was the only thing he used for contact with him. Now here's where Kakarot or doxxing steps in. Now one thing you guys should know is that Kakarot has his own server where he along with his gang usually chat around. It was any other day. Kakarot had kicked Axidi out of his server and had asked him to say, "I'm 11 years old and only then would I let you in." Axidi, wanting to get into the server, says those following words. Now moving further, Kakarot uses that info to report him on Discord and gets his account suspended till late 2027. I actually ended up asking Axidi how he felt when he found out that his account got suspended. And as you can see, it roughly goes over how he felt betrayed as to the fact that how a close friend betrayed him whom he trusted a lot. Moreover, that time he was slightly worried about that cancer friend of his but didn't really worry about it that much at the time as he didn't think that his contact would be cut off just like that. Hence as a result, Axidi and Kakarot went back to being friends. Looking further, things went on as usual and the burden of losing that account piled up on him. He slowly realized that he no longer can contact his old friend who was diagnosed with cancer. Axidi grew more tensioned. Moving on, by this time Kakarot had disappeared somehow and things starting calming down. Now before disappearing for over a month in mid-January, Kakarot had made a group chat which contained me, Axidi and some other members and named it Best Friend Group FR. Before we move on, there are a few characters I need to introduce you to which are gonna play a major role in the things I'm about to tell you right now and who are also the victim of Kakarot. Firstly, we have Golden Samurai. For the second user, they actually asked to be anonymous, but yeah, they are a she. Moving on, by the end of February, the burden of losing his friend has really piled up on Axidi, and by this time a new member joined the Best Friend Group FR whose name is Prince of Persia. Initially things were normal. People chatting slowly, forgetting Kakarot and that shit. Prince of Persia would oftentimes bring up Kakarot, and this is where Golden Samurai's role comes in. He exploits her by asking her what she's like to Kakarot, or did you know that Kakarot said this about you, or did you know that Kakarot did this or that, blah blah, the list just goes on. Also a slight note that Leelach guy is Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia claimed to be really close to Kakarot and that he knew him in real life and everything. Oftentimes he would talk to Axidi and insult him and shit and follow them by teasing him about how his account got banned and that shit. Moreover, he would also mention how Kakarot said that he hated every single one of you. And obviously he would talk to Golden Samurai about Kakarot and try to exploit her feelings. And right about this time I discovered something shocking. Prince of Persia was actually Kakarot. I immediately told Axidi, but the fact was at that time he had broken out. He was talking to doxxing or Kakarot, mainly going over how Kakarot ruined his life and that how he broke his connection with a dear friend of his, and the fact was he was telling all of this to Kakarot face to face, not knowing that the person he was talking to was actually Kakarot, and he was actually getting emotional over it. While he was talking to doxxing, I told him live that his Kakarot, that bitch, has been playing us. Persia, doxxing and Kakarot are the same fucking person, and as you can see from the screenshots now, they roughly go over Axidi crashing out over doxxing and quickly changes his tone. He's pissed and letting his emotions speak, and doxxing, he just sees this as a joke, not taking this seriously one bit. Axidi, growing more and more frustrated, is getting more emotional and emotional getting angrier. And as you can see, doxxing doesn't seem to give a fuck and thinks that this story of his is just a pathetic story of his. Some fantasy he made up on his own, and doxxing, instead of feeling sorry, gets more and more cocky as being observed in the screenshots. When Axidi gets serious and says I lost contact with a dear friend of mine who is going through cancer, doxxing calls it fate. And being the cocky bitch he is, he still doesn't want to accept that he is an absolute dickhead. Even Golden Samurai, after finding out, is in utter shock as to the fact that he is actually a guy like this and not what she had anticipated. And after all this, Kakarot and Axidi break apart and doxxing thinks that he got away with it. But here I am exposing him. Now that was the first section. Remember that user who asked to be anonymous, it's her turn now. Kakarot had gotten close to her and thought that they were hubbies now, and they started talking about some adultery stuff, mainly Kakarot, as seen by the screenshots behind. I personally had asked her what she felt during this conversation because knowing her personality, she doesn't seem this kind of person. And yes, as I predicted, she was uncomfortable at that time. Furthermore, she has also told us that Kakarot has been simping over me and stalking and all that shit, and that he's actually fallen in love with me, and that his love is actually one-sided, so she's disgusted with him. And another thing, those screenshots I had shown you earlier were actually leaked by Kakarot to several people, which hurt her feelings a lot. Cause 1, he exploited her. 2nd, he made her look like the bad guy, and one last thing that she had requested as a victim was that Kakarot's identity looks and his privacy and shit should be shown in this video. Though I told her that it would be going overboard, she still insisted, as what he had done to Axidi and her was unacceptable. So Kakarot's actual name is Ilian, he's black from Pakistan and the province Punjab and lives on Sargodha Road, and here's his picture. It's my request from all of you guys to spread awareness in the AMV editing community about this guy, because he's already done this with several people before Axidi, and the anonymous user were no exception. If you've reached this far, PLZ, try to get this to Kirah so he can also promote this and consider subscribing. Rurox out. And now enjoy this edit.
私ここでやり合ったな。
前と同じだ。ここでまた